Sakal Gunar Vande Guru Sri Charanaravindan.
Amongst great bowmen, this child will be as good as Arjun. He will be as irresistible as fire and as unsurpassable as the ocean. In history, there are two Arjuns. One is Kartavirya Arjun, the king of Haihaya, and the other is the grandfather of the child. Both the Arjuns are famous for their bowmanship, and the child Parikshit is foretold to be equal to both of them, particularly in fighting. A short description of the Pandav Arjun is given below. Pandav Arjun, the great hero of the Bhagavad Gita. He is the Kshatriya son of Maharaj Pandu. Queen Kunti Devi could call for any one of the demigods, and thus she called Indra, and Arjun was born by him. Arjun is therefore a plenary part of the heavenly King Indra. He was born in the month of Falgun, February-March, and therefore he is also called Falguni. When he appeared as the son of Kunti, his future greatness was proclaimed by air messages, and all the important personalities from different parts of the universe, such as the demigods, the Gandharvas, the Adityas from the sun globe, the Rudras, the Vasas, the Nags, the different Rishis, sages of importance, and the Apsaras, the society girls of heaven, all attended the ceremony. The Apsaras pleased everyone by their heavenly dances and songs. Vasudev, the father of Lord Krishna and the maternal uncle of Arjun, sent his priest representative Kashyap to purify Arjun by all the prescribed samskars, or reformatory processes. His samskar of being given a name was performed in the presence of the rishis, residents of Shatasringa. He married 4 wives, Draupadi, Subhadra, Citrangada, and Ulupi, from whom he got 4 sons of the names Shrutakirti, Abhimanyu, Babruvahan, and Iravan, respectively. During his student life, he was entrusted to study under the great professor Dronacharya, along with other Pandavas and the Kurus. But he excelled everyone by his studious intensity, and Dronacharya was especially attracted by his disciplinary affection. Dronacharya accepted him as a first-grade scholar and loved heartily to bestow upon him all the blessings of military science. He was so ardent a student that he used to practice bowmanship even at night, and for all these reasons Professor Dronacharya was determined to make him the topmost bowman of the world. He passed very brilliantly the examination in piercing the target, and Dronacharya was very pleased. Royal families at Manipur and Tripura are descendants of Arjun's son Babruvahan. Arjun saved Dronacharya from the attack of a crocodile, and the Acharya, being pleased with him, rewarded him with a weapon of the name Brahmashira. Maharaj Drupad was inimical toward Dronacharya, and thus when he attacked the Acharya, Arjun got him arrested and brought him before Dronacharya. He besieged a city of the name Ahichatra, belonging to Maharaj Drupad, and after taking it over he gave it to Dronacharya. The confidential treatment of the weapon Brahmashira was explained to Arjun, and Dronacharya was promised by Arjun that he would use the weapon if necessary when he, Dronacharya, personally became an enemy of Arjun. By this, the Acharya forecasted the future battle of Kurukshetra, in which Dronacharya was on the opposite side. Maharaj Drupad, although defeated by Arjun on behalf of his professor Dronacharya, decided to hand over his daughter Draupadi to his young combatant, but he was disappointed when he heard the false news of Arjun's death in the fire of a shellac house, intrigued by Duryodhan. He therefore arranged for Draupadi's personal selection of a groom who could pierce the eye of a fish hanging on the ceiling. This trick was especially made because only Arjun could do it, and he was successful in his desire to hand over his equally worthy daughter to Arjun. Arjun's brothers were at that time living incognito under agreement with Duryodhan, and Arjun and his brothers attended the meeting of Draupadi's selection in the dress of Brahmans. When all the Kshatriya kings assembled saw that a poor Brahman had been garlanded by Draupadi for her lord, Sri Krishna disclosed his identity to Balram. He met Ulupi at Haridwar, and he was attracted by a girl belonging to Naglok, and thus Iravan was born. Similarly, he met Citrangad, a daughter of the king of Manipur, and thus Babruvahan was born. Lord Sri Krishna made a plan to help Arjun to kidnap Subhadra, sister of Sri Krishna, because Baldev was inclined to hand her over to Duryodhan. Yudhishthira also agreed with Sri Krishna, and thus Subhadra was taken by force by Arjun and then married to him. Subhadra's son is Abhimanyu, the father of Parikshit Maharaj, the posthumous child. Arjun satisfied the fire god by setting fire to the Kandav forest, and thus the fire god gave him one weapon. Indra was angry when the fire was set in the Kandav forest, and thus Indra, assisted by all other demigods, began fighting with Arjun for his great challenge. They were defeated by Arjun, and Indradev returned to his heavenly kingdom. Arjun also promised all protection to one Mayasur, and the latter presented him one valuable conch shell, celebrated as the Devdat. Similarly, he received many other valuable weapons from Indradev when he was satisfied to see his chivalry. When Maharaj Yudhishthira was disappointed in defeating the king of Magad, Jarasandh, it was Arjun only who gave King Yudhishthira all kinds of assurances, and thus Arjun, Bhim and Lord Krishna started for Magad to kill Jarasandh. When he went out to bring all other kings of the world under the subjection of the Pandavas, as was usual after the coronation of every emperor, he conquered the country named Kelinda and brought in subjugation King Bagdut. Then he travelled through countries like Antagiri, Ulukpur and Modapur and brought under subjugation all the rulers. Sometimes he underwent severe types of penances, and later on he was rewarded by Indradev. Lord Shiva also wanted to try the strength of Arjun, and in the form of an aborigine, Lord Shiva met him. There was a great fight between the two, and at last Lord Shiva was satisfied with him and disclosed his identity. Arjun prayed to the Lord in all humbleness, and the Lord, being pleased with him, presented him the Pashupat weapon. He acquired many other important weapons from different demigods. He received Dhanastra from Yamaraj, Pashastra from Varun, and Antardhan Astra from Kuver, the treasurer of the heavenly kingdom. Indra wanted him to come to the heavenly kingdom, the Indralok planet beyond the moon planet. In that planet he was cordially received by the local residents, and he was awarded reception in the heavenly parliament of Indradev. Then he met Indradev, who not only presented him with his Vajra weapon, but also taught him the military and musical science as used in the heavenly planet. In one sense, Indra is the real father of Arjun, and therefore indirectly he wanted to entertain Arjun with the famous society girl of heaven, Urvashi, the celebrated beauty. The society girls of heaven are lusty, and Urvashi was very eager to contact Arjun, the strongest human being. She met him in his room and expressed her desires, but Arjun sustained his unimpeachable character by closing his eyes before Urvashi, addressing her as mother of the Kuru dynasty and placing her in the category of his mothers Kunti, Madri and Shachidevi, wife of Indradev. Disappointed, Urvashi cursed Arjun and left. In the heavenly planet, he also met the great celebrated ascetic Lomas and prayed to him for the protection of Maharaj Yudhishthira. When his inimical cousin Duryodhan was under the clutches of the Gandharvas, he wanted to save him and requested the Gandharvas to release Duryodhan, but the Gandharvas refused, and thus he fought with them and got Duryodhan released. When all the Pandavas lived incognito, he presented himself in the court of King Virat as a eunuch, and was employed as the musical teacher of Uttara, his future daughter-in-law, and was known in the Virat court as the Brihanala. As Brihanala, he fought on behalf of Uttara, the son of King Virat, and thus defeated the Kurus in the fight incognito. His secret weapons were safely kept in the custody of a somi tree, and he ordered Uttara to get them back. His identity and his brother's identity were later on disclosed to Uttara. Dronacharya was informed of Arjun's presence in the fight of the Kurus and the Virats. Later, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjun killed many great generals like Khan and others. After the battle of Kurukshetra, he punished Ashvatam, who had killed all the 5 sons of Draupadi. Then all the brothers went to Bhishmadev. It is due to Arjun only that the great philosophical discourses of the Bhagavad Gita were again spoken by the Lord on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. His wonderful acts on the battlefield of Kurukshetra are vividly described in the Mahabharata. Arjun was defeated, however, by his son Babruvahan at Manipur and fell unconscious when Ulupi saved him. After the disappearance of Lord Krishna, the message was brought by Arjun to Maharaj Yudhishthira. Again, Arjun visited Dvar, and all the widow wives of Lord Krishna lamented before him. He took them all in the presence of Vasudeva and pacified all of them. Later on, when Vasudeva passed away, he performed his funeral ceremony in the absence of Krishna. While Arjun was taking all the wives of Krishna to Indraprasth, he was attacked on the way and he could not protect the ladies in his custody. At last, advised by Vyasdev, all the brothers headed for Mahaprasthan. On the way, at the request of his brother, he gave up all important weapons as useless, and he dropped them all in the water.